The first sound was the crash. Porcelain hitting tile, a sharp gasp, and then silence. Everyone turned. The smell of roasted coffee filled the air. But what people noticed was the girl standing frozen, her apron splattered, her hands trembling over the broken cups. And the man she just spilled it on. He didn't move. Not at first. The coffee had soaked through his $1,000 suit, dripping from his sleeve onto the floor. His jaw tightened slightly, his eyes sharp, the kind that could silence boardrooms and end careers with a single look. Ella Carter's voice broke the silence. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." The cafe manager gasped. "Do you know who that is?" Of course she didn't. She just knew everyone had stopped breathing. But she found out soon enough. Ethan Blake, someone whispered. The billionaire, CEO of Blake Holdings. Her heart plummeted. No, 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 no. Ethan finally lifted his gaze from his sleeve to her face. His expression unreadable, cold, assessing quiet. The kind of quiet that made the whole cafe hold its breath. Ella swallowed hard. "Please, sir, I can pay for her." He cut her off, voice steady. "Are you hurt?" She blinked. "What?" He repeated calmly. "Did the coffee burn you?" She shook her head fast. "No, sir, Good." He took a napkin from the counter and wiped his hand. Then he turned to the cafe manager, who already looked ready to fire her on the spot. "Don't," Ethan said simply. The manager froze. "Sir." He met the man's eyes. "Don't fire her. It was an accident. And accidents happen to everyone, even billionaires." The silence that followed was deafening. Ella stared at him, lost for words. She expected anger, humiliation, maybe even security dragging her out. But this? No one knew what to do. Ethan placed a $50 bill on the counter, then looked back at her once more. "You might want to clean up before someone slips." And with that, he left. Just left. The door shut softly behind him, and for a few seconds, no one spoke. Then the whispers began. Did he just apologize? He's supposed to be ruthless. Someone record that. Oh, wait. I already did. The last voice made Ella's heart drop even further. Someone recorded that. Her life was officially ruined. She bent down quickly, trying to clean the mess before her manager could explode. But instead of yelling, the man just sighed. "You're lucky, Carter. If he were anyone else, you'd be out of a job." "Yeah," she whispered, still shaking. "Lucky." That night, she walked home under flickering city lights, her hands still trembling. Her best friend, Mia, was waiting in their tiny apartment, scrolling through her phone with wide eyes. "You're famous," Mia said without looking up. "Ella froneth." "What?" Mia turned the screen. "Look." And there it was, a blurry video of her accident, captioned, "Poor girl spills coffee on billionaire." His reaction left everyone silent. "Ella froneth." "No, no, no, no." "Oh yes," Mia said, grinning. "You're trending, babe. Everyone's talking about how calm he was. You even have hashtags. Hashtag polite billionaire. Hashtag coffee girl." Ella grabbed a pillow and buried her face in it. "This can't be happening. My boss is going to kill me." "Kill you?" "Girl, you made him look good. You should get a raise for this." But all Ella could think about was the way he'd looked at her. Not with anger, not with pity, but something else. Curiosity, maybe. Like he wasn't used to people apologizing to him sincerely. She didn't know it, but across the city, Ethan Blake was watching the same video. In his penthouse suite, with glass walls overlooking the skyline, he replayed the moment. Her panicked face, the way her voice shook, and how she still tried to apologize even after the entire room froze. "Sir," his assistant said carefully, "the internet loves it. You're trending. They're calling you the gentle billionaire." Ethan didn't look up. "Gentle," he repeated quietly. "That's a first. Would you like me to release a statement?" No, he set his phone down. It was just coffee. But deep down, he knew it wasn't. Something about that moment, her honesty, her fear, the complete lack of agenda, had left a mark he couldn't explain. The next morning, Ella showed up to work praying for a normal day. She wore a spare uniform, tied her hair tighter than usual, and avoided every phone screen in the cafe. But fate had other plans. At exactly 9:17 a.m., the doorbell chimed, and the air shifted again. Heads turned. The chatter died. Ethan Blake, crisp suit, calm eyes, unreadable expression, walked straight up to the counter. Ella nearly dropped the sugar jar. He noticed. "You're more careful today," he said lightly. "Trying to keep my job," she managed. His lips curved slightly. Understandable. He glanced at the menu. Coffee. Black. No sugar. She rang it up, praying her hands wouldn't shake. When she gave him the cup, he didn't leave right away. Instead, he said, I don't usually come back to the same place twice." "Then why are you here?" He met her eyes, steady, unreadable. "Because I think you owe me a conversation. Off camera this time." Her stomach twisted. I don't think that's lunch," he interrupted smoothly. "My treat." The cafe went quiet again. Even the espresso machine seemed to pause. I can't. Relax. It's not a date. Call it compensation for all the chaos." She hesitated. He didn't blink. And for reasons she couldn't explain, she found herself nodding. When Ella stepped outside the cafe that afternoon, the sunlight felt too bright, or maybe it was the nerves twisting in her stomach. She told herself she wasn't actually going to lunch with him, that it was ridiculous, that billionaires didn't just drop by to eat with waitresses. But there he was, standing beside a sleek black car parked at the curb, waiting like he'd done 100 times. "Change your mind?" he asked, his tone teasing but calm. She crossed her arms, defensive. "You didn't even give me time to decide." He smiled slightly. "Then consider this an impulse decision." "I'm known for those." "Right," she muttered. "And people say I'm clumsy." He chuckled, an actual laugh, before opening the car door. "Come on. I promise not to make you spill anything this time." She hesitated, glancing around as a few people whispered nearby, probably recognizing him. Great. More rumors. But curiosity, and maybe a small spark of defiance, pushed her forward. The car door shut behind her, sealing her into a quiet luxury world that smelled faintly of leather and something expensive she couldn't name. For the first few minutes, neither of them spoke. Then Ethan finally said, "You look terrified." "Because I am," she blurted out. "I don't do this. Whatever this is." "A meal," he said. "Two people. Food. Very ordinary. Not when one of them's you." He glanced at her. "What do you mean? You're Ethan Blake. You own half the city. You wear suits that cost more than my entire paycheck. People like me don't eat with people like you." He was silent for a moment, then said quietly, "Maybe that's the problem." She frowned. "What problem?" "The one where people think I'm something I'm not." The car pulled into a rooftop restaurant with a glass view of the city skyline. The hostess didn't even ask for a reservation. One look at Ethan, and she was already leading them to a private corner table. Ella tried to look casual, but her heart was racing. The silverware probably cost more than her rent. When the waiter left them with menus, she said, "You didn't have to bring me somewhere like this." "I didn't have to do anything," Ethan replied, "but I wanted to." He leaned back, studying her. "Because yesterday, you treated me like a person, not a paycheck or a name. You didn't know who I was, and you didn't try to gain anything from it." She shook her head. "I spilled coffee on you. That's not exactly kindness." "Honesty then," he said, "and that's rarer." Their food arrived, her simple pasta, his grilled salmon, but she could barely taste a bite. The conversation carried more weight than the meal. When the plates were nearly empty, she said softly, "I don't get it. You could eat anywhere with anyone. Why me?" He smiled faintly. "You're assuming this is about me." She blinked. "Isn't it?" He leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes steady. "Tell me something, Ella. What do you really want to do? If you didn't have to worry about bills, rent, or working 3 shifts, what would you actually want?" The question hit her harder than she expected. I don't know," she admitted. "I used to like drawing, but that's not exactly rent money." "Maybe not, but it's who you are, and I think you forgot that somewhere along the way." She frowned, suspicious. "You sound like a motivational speaker." He laughed quietly. "No, I sound like a man who remembers what it's like to lose himself in work." The way he said it, quiet, regretful, made her realize he wasn't trying to impress her. He was speaking from experience. By the time they stepped out onto the rooftop balcony, the city had started to glow, the kind of evening light that made glass towers look like fire. The wind tugged at her hair, and for a second, Neither spoke. Then she said, "You really surprise people, don't you?" He looked down at her. "How so? I mean, the internet calls you ruthless. Cold. But you're different." He smirked. "Different how?" "Human," she said simply. He didn't respond right away. Just looked at her, the faintest smile in his eyes, the kind that wasn't practiced or polite, but real. By the time they stepped out onto the rooftop balcony, the city had started to glow, the kind of evening light that made glass towers look like fire. The wind tugged at her hair, and for a second, neither spoke. Then she said, "You really surprise people, don't you?" He looked down at her. "How so? I mean, the internet calls you ruthless. Cold. But you're different." He smirked. "Different how?" "Human," she said simply. He didn't respond right away. Just looked at her, the faintest smile in his eyes, the kind that wasn't practiced or polite, but real. That moment might have lasted longer, but a camera flash broke it. Ella turned. A girl across the street was holding up her phone, whispering excitedly. "Oh no," Ella muttered, instinctively stepping back. "They're taking pictures." Ethan sighed. "Ignore it. I can't. My coworkers will see this. My boss will." He stepped closer, his tone calm but firm. "Ella, look at me." She did. "Let them talk. You don't owe anyone an explanation." Something in the way he said it, grounded, protective, made her heartbeat slow down. For the first time since that morning, she didn't feel small. She felt seen. But peace never lasts long in stories like this. Because the next day, when she walked into work, whispers followed her. "Did you see the photos?" She was having dinner with him. She's probably trying to use him. Her manager's voice cut through all. "Carter, my office. Now." She followed him inside, her throat dry. He tossed a printout of a tabloid article onto the desk. The headline screamed, "Mystery Waitress Caught Dining with Billionaire Ethan Blake. Secret Relationship?" Ella's heart sank. "It's not what it looks like." "I don't care what it is," he said coldly. "This cafe doesn't need that kind of attention. You're suspended until this dies down." She felt the words like a punch. "Please, sir, I need this job." "Then maybe you shouldn't have made yourself a headline." That night, she sat in her apartment staring at her phone, unread messages piling up. She didn't cry. Not at first. But when Mia finally walked in and asked what happened, the dam broke. "They suspended me, Mia. Because of him. Because people can't stop talking." Mia frowned. "You should tell him." "No," Ella said firmly. "He's got enough problems. He doesn't need mine." "Ella, I mean it. He's a billionaire. I'm nothing. I don't want his pity." Meanwhile, across the city, Ethan was watching the same tabloid headline on his office screen. His jaw tightened. "Find out who leaked this," he told his assistant. "Yes, sir. But should we ignore it publicly?" Ethan looked out over the skyline. "No, not this time." 2 days passed. 2 painfully quiet, endless days. Ella tried to keep busy, cleaning the same corner of her small apartment, making tea she never drank, pretending the silence wasn't eating her alive. But her phone wouldn't stop lighting up. Notifications, calls, messages from numbers she didn't recognize. Some kind, some cruel, and one from him. "Ethan Blake. Ella, please call me. I can fix this. Just talk to me." She didn't reply. He didn't deserve her silence, but she couldn't handle his voice either. Not when she'd lost her job, her peace, and maybe something more dangerous, her heart. Across town, Ethan wasn't doing much better. He sat in his office, staring at the city below. Normally, numbers, deals, and power filled his world. But today, none of it mattered. Not when someone's name, her name, was being dragged through the headlines because of him. He turned to his assistant. "Did you find out who leaked the story?" "Yes, sir," she said carefully. "It was a restaurant. Someone from their PR team sold the photos." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Fire them." "Already done." He paused, then said, "And schedule a press conference." "Today." "Sir." He met her eyes. "If the world wants a story, I'll give them the truth." He continued, "Her name is Ella Carter. She didn't ask for attention. She didn't use me. She spilled coffee on me, apologized, and went on with her day. She's one of the few people I've met who didn't care about my last name." A voice in the crowd called out, "Are you saying you're together?" He gave a faint smile. I'm saying she deserves better than what the world's given her the past few days. And if defending her costs me headlines, then so be it. The clip went viral before nightfall. By the time Ella saw it, her hands were trembling. She'd been lying on her couch, replaying every mistake in her head when her friend Mia burst through the door, breathless. Turn on the news. Now, the video played again and again. Ethan's calm voice, his eyes steady, his words clear. He said your name, Ella. He defended you. Mia exclaimed. Ellas truatiktanat. He didn't have to do that. Mia smiled knowingly. No, but he wanted to. The next morning, a soft knock echoed through her apartment. She opened the door and froze. Ethan stood there, dressed simply for once. No suit, no armor. Just him. Hi, he said quietly. She blinked. You shouldn't be here. People will. He stepped closer. Talk. They already are. I don't care. She crossed her arms. You don't get to fix my life every time something goes wrong. He sighed. I didn't come to fix it. I came to say I'm sorry. For what? For dragging you into my world without asking if you wanted to be part of it. The sincerity in his voice broke through her defenses. I never blamed you, she whispered. But I lost my job, Ethan. I don't know how to start over again. He looked at her with a kind of softness that made her heart ache. Then let me help you start over. Not as a billionaire, not as your savior, just as someone who believes in you. She shook her head, tears stinging her eyes. You don't even know me. He smiled faintly. Maybe not everything, but I know you're the only person who's ever looked me in the eye and told me I was being arrogant. That made her laugh despite herself. You were. I still am, he admitted, smiling. But I'm learning. They walked to the park nearby. No cameras, no crowds. Just quiet. For a while, neither spoke. Then Ellis said softly, You know this doesn't make sense, right? You and me. He looked at her, unflinching. Most good things don't. She laughed, shaking her head. You really believe that? I believe in what I feel when I'm with you. That silenced her. Not because of what he said, but because of how he said it. Like it wasn't a line or a promise. Just truth. A week later, Ella returned to the cafe, not as an employee, but as a customer. The whispers still followed her, but this time, she didn't care. Ethan was already sitting at a corner table, waiting, 2 coffees in front of him. She smiled. Déjà vu. Hopefully without the spilling part, he said, grinning. She sat across from him, picking up her cup. So what now? He thought for a moment. Now we just live. You keep drawing. I keep learning how to be less of a jerk. And maybe we find out where this goes. She raised her brow. That's your big billionaire plan? He smirked. My best one yet. She laughed, finally feeling the heaviness lift from her chest. As they sat together, the sunlight streaming through the cafe windows, Ella realized something. Sometimes, fate doesn't announce itself with grand gestures. Sometimes it starts with something as small and messy as a spilled cup of coffee. Clapperboard if you love this story, hit red heart, subscribe, and comment coffee below so we know you made it to the end. Because love stories like this, they're the ones we all secretly believe in. Hot beverage sparkles.